Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to Reaction Sports. And let me not play around with this. Cormani McClain was cut by Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffalo football team. Now, I'm going to show you evidence. Now, I didn't see this anywhere said, but it was said cryptically without saying it. But before we get into that information, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe, because we're going to slow walk through this process so we can break down exactly what happened. You all know Cormani McClain, 5-star recruit, big time get by Coach Prime. This is the year after getting Travis Hunter, who has been all he was hyped up to be. 100%. He's been that dude. And Coach Prime saw in Cormani McClain another Travis Hunter type, another Coach Prime type. He was excited to get this job done or get this deal done, and he was able to close it out. Now, Cormani went from potentially signing with Florida to signing with UM. And the next thing you know, in the whirlwind gesture, he found his way into Colorado. All right, fine, great, good. We thought this was a perfect match. Obviously, I've done 1,000,001 videos documenting this. Please go back into the archives to check it out, because myself, I thought it was a perfect match too. With Coach Prime being a Gold Jacket Hall of Famer, Cormani having all the talent to develop, perfect match. Perfect match. But unfortunately, it did not turn out that way, and Cormani found himself not in Colorado. Now, so when we go into the season, so I want to slow roast this thing, because I'm going to show you definitive evidence, definitive proof that Cormani was actually cut by Colorado. All right. During the season, he played about 9 games. In that 9 games, he had 13 total tackles. You know, whatever, it's not that big of a deal, but he only had 2 passes defense, right? And everyone kept asking time and time again, why isn't Cormani playing? Why isn't Cormani playing? He didn't even play the first few games, and everyone was confused as to what went wrong, you know, myself included. And at that point, Coach Prime did come out with his story. He did come out and articulate exactly why Cormani wasn't getting the run that he was, or everybody was expecting. So let's watch this 37 clip. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Don't forget, this is fair use, and then we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
Elaborate on what you want to see him do, 1, and 2, did he help his case?
Study, prepare.
Study,
prepare. Be on time for meetings. Show up to the darn meetings. Understand what we're doing as a scheme. Want to play this game. Desire to play this game. Desire to be the best in this game. At practice, in the film room, and on your own free time. You do know that I check film time. So if I don't see that you would be a fool to put somebody out there now.
So Coach Prime made it plain. He did not see the work ethic that he expected. He expected Cormani to come in and be the dog that he is, that puts in the time, that studies, that prepares, that do the things that Coach Prime did to be Coach Prime, or Deion Sanders, right? Prime time, right? Cormani wasn't doing that. Coach Prime did not actually see that level of work ethic, and he held that against him. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. He absolutely held it against Cormani that he wasn't putting in the work ethic that Coach Prime expected Cormani to put in, right? On top of that, you know, if you look at the film, we don't got to get into it. There are moments where Cormani, whether it's practice film that showed up, that we have to show, you know, I don't need to say all that, but where Cormani didn't look as good as he could have, and Coach Prime chopped that all up, is that you're not on time. You're not preparing. You're not training. You're not ready for this. You're not the dog I thought you were when I recruited you. I expected you to come in here and be a dog, just like Travis was a dog from day one, and hold it down, right? I think there is space to be said. If Coach Prime himself had seen the work ethic from Cormani that he wanted or expected to see, I think a lot of this stuff would have got passed over, right? but he didn't see that same kid. So let's go. And this is not a dig at Cormani. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I want to really say that because the kid has talent. He does. And that's why I'm phrasing it like that. Coach Prime didn't see what he expected to see. And he held him accountable to that, to his expectations. And that's a mistake you cannot make as a young person, whether it's in sports or life. People are going to hold you to their expectations. And the funny thing is, they don't always communicate their expectations to you. They don't. But Coach Prime actually did communicate his expectations and what he wanted from Cormani from day one. He also shared it with the media, right? Because that's the type of person that Coach Prime is. So can I hold that against him? I would say not. I wouldn't hold that against Coach Prime. And I'm not actually holding it against Cormani, being that he's a young adult. I'm not going to say he's a young kid. He is a young adult. He needs space to make his own decisions, right? And there are consequences that come with the decisions that we make. And that's okay, right? So we went through it. Why wasn't Cormani playing? We saw it. And so as a result of that, right, we get this. Cormani put out this post through Hayes Fawcett, and it pretty much sums up everything. You know, he is transferring out of Colorado, right? First and foremost, I would like to thank God for giving me a chance, the opportunity to play in Boulder. I would like to thank all the CU staff members, and most definitely a special thanks to Coach Livingston for all the knowledge you've taught me in a short span of time, and a special thanks to the players. All late night thoughts and great gathered ideas I dedicated to enter the transfer portal with 4 years of eligibility left. Thanks to the University of Boulder, Colorado, and all the fans, right? Or Colorado at Boulder, whatever, right? One thing that's very telling, obviously, you don't see him thanking Coach Prime in this statement. And I think that's the one thing that jumps out, you know, in that saying, because at that point he had just been cut by Coach Prime. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that? Before I get to why I said that, I'm going to let Coach Prime speak on Cormani and the reason for that transfer. Don't forget, I'm going to show you definitive proof of why. I know I'm burying the lead, but I want you to hang in there with me. Here we go.
And I pray to God that he goes to a program that challenges him as well as hold him accountable and develop him as a young man. Unfortunately, we weren't the program that can accomplish that. So prayerfully that he understands that this is the second go round and get it. Go get it, man, because he has a tremendous amount of talent, but he has to want it. I'm always in prayer.
Coach Prime made it plain. He has a tremendous amount of talent, but Cormani has to go want it. And that's what he wasn't seeing. He didn't see Cormani wanting it. He didn't see Cormani grinding with it. Every day, constantly doing the film study, doing the preparation, getting into his playbook, getting into the formations, understanding what your opponent was going to do, and understanding yourself. He didn't see it. And Coach Prime called it for what it was. He said he didn't see it. He didn't pretend. And that rubs people the wrong way. But I respect it and appreciate it. Right? And he said he wished him well. He said he has all the talent in the world, because he does. Right? All those posts that saying that Cormani can't do this, that's all nonsense. The kid has the talent. The kid has the talent. Just want to reiterate that. But from Coach Prime's perspective, what is lacking is that work ethic. All right, let's keep going. And this is Cormani's YouTube response. Let's watch this, and then we're going to get into, then we're going to watch the replay or a response from Uncle Neely. And then, I know I'm holding it to you, but I want you to stay locked in. Here we go.
Change the narrative of everyone's thinking on my name. Be a part of a real and a great program that's going to impact me at my best ability. And yeah, ready to get to a new place and get to work. Yeah, I feel like I just don't want to play for the Clips. I actually want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. With that being said, that'll wrap up all the questions.
You heard it directly. One of the things that Cormani had struggled with is he felt he wasn't being developed. Coach Prime perspective, like, I can't develop if you're showing up late. I can't develop you if you're not watching film. I can't develop you if you're not doing the things that I ask you to do when I ask you to do it. And that rift in the relationship, when you have different goals, different expectations, and people not being on the same page. And then when people communicate what they're saying, you don't hear it. On both sides. On both sides. So this is a situation, I guess, to say to all these young athletes out here, you gotta know the people you're going to, and you gotta understand if you can receive what they offer you. And that goes to any relationship. Any relationship. They all struggle through that. They all struggle through that. When you have one who's able to communicate properly, and then you have another who struggles to say anything ever, it just causes frustration. And it makes it almost impossible to talk to that person. And like I said, this goes into everything. This ain't just a football talk. This just ain't a sports talk. This is all relationships. Whether you're working a 9-to-5, whether you're relationship with your partner, all of it goes the same way, right? All right. So this is Uncle Neely. He's famous for the program show, and let's get into what he had to say about Cormani. Cormani kind of came up with the clicks. This was the response from Uncle Neely. Let me see, it's about 9:58. So I want to do another program on the Dylan Edwards and the running back situation, but let's focus on Cormani right now. So let's hear the response from Uncle Neely. It's buffering a little bit. Hope it comes out and play. Why are you buffering? All right. So while that's loading up, let me hit the refresh button. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay locked in with us. And then we'll get this to play. Let me
built around.
There we go.
We can't change it just fine. We can't leave out of the Cormani McClain.
All right, so this is Uncle Neely talking specifically on the Cormani McClain. Thank you guys for locking in. And like I said, I'm going to come now with definitive proof of why Cormani was cut, or the fact that Cormani was cut. There we go.
McClain part of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen statements from guys, and he's saying things like, he wanted to go to a program that wasn't click-based.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I witnessed. I have witnessed a head coach who goes well out of his way to not tell what he could tell about these players. He leaves a lot of it up to interpretation. A lot of it is just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Let them fade, wish them well. But when you have somebody say things like that, and let me testify what I witnessed, right? I've been in a team meeting, Jake, and Coach Prime says, Cormani, you're going to start this weekend. But here's what I need for you to start. You got to be on time for meetings this week. You got to watch so many minutes of film, and you got to show up at practice. The guy hits a trifecta in doing none of them. You're told this like on a Monday, right? Mm-hmm. And you check every box of what not to do.
It's crazy, man.
But then you leave and say, well, I want to go to a program that's not about clicks. You got Kevin Mathis, Deion Sanders, now Robert Livingston. What cornerback would not want to thrive in that system?
It's a great question. And honestly, I think you just look at the offers that Cormani McClain's gotten so far. No real serious P5 offers. There was some interest, but it's all USF, UCF, who is Power 4 now, and Memphis. So I think the word is out there. What happened here with Cormani McClain and Coach Prime in this program, and I think teams are obviously very aware of it.
And I don't know his high school coach, God bless him, but I've even seen him make statements now affirming what we found out. Mm-hmm. Statements that weren't made beforehand. And so I think people are going to see, and again, Cormani McClain, Dylan Edwards.
There it is from Uncle Neely and Jake. Oh, man. I mean, he laid it out plain from his perspective and what he saw. But like I said, from Cormani's standpoint, they didn't develop him well enough. But from their standpoint, you didn't do what we asked you to do. And that definitely caused a rift. So with that being said, let's go into, this is it. This is from Eric Schoenbeck. You know, go follow it. I'm not playing it directly because they drop a lot of negative language in there, and I didn't edit it all out. But go check out this clip. In this clip, what you will see and hear, well, what you'll hear is what was said here. Cormani said on a scale of 1 to 10, why was it so deep? What was the reason it didn't go the way it was supposed to go? Where was this coming from? He said it was deep as 11, no Diddy. He also said it ain't on my end. It's on their end. Definitively, Cormani said that in that. He said it's not on me, it's on them. Coach Prime cut Cormani McClain. He cut him. Because at the end of the day, we saw all the posts and the stuff like that. He's going to stick around. But Coach Prime didn't see any change in effort. Coach Prime didn't see any shift. So what I said earlier, Colorado isn't a program, it's a production. In that production, Coach Prime is the orchestrator. He's the director, and he expects everybody to play their part. And the number one thing he expects everybody to do is to develop into young men who listen and who does things the right way. Showing up late to meetings isn't doing things in the right way. Being late isn't doing things in the right way. Not watching film isn't doing things the right way. And that is something Coach Prime cannot deal with. He's very much old school. You might see all the clicks, all the glamour, and you think he's new school, but that's not really what his deal is. That's not at all what his deal is, to be truthful with you. And Cormani, from Coach Prime perspective, wasn't doing that, right? So that lays that part flat out plain. Cormani was cut by Colorado, right? But they're never going to come out and say that. They're never going to come out and say it. But people in the background know the truth. And at the end of the day, Coach Prime judged him not to be a dog. A dog goes to work. A dog gonna grind and go get it. A dog ain't finna be running around people who are third and fourth strings and be comfortable with that. They're gonna look around like, why am I in the back? Why am I not leading the race? And they're gonna have a problem with that. That's what a dog's gonna do. Now, a bench warmer will be totally comfortable with that. They don't have it. They're walking around, hair shaking like, oh, I'm doing it, right? And then a true competitor like, doing what? Doing what? You're in the back. You're running with people with one leg. Literally, you're running with people with one leg on a limp. Speed walkers. And you say you're running. Running for how? For who? For what? What is that? That is who Coach Prime is. He was a dog. He couldn't deal with that. He like, I can't be around this. And he saw the opposite in Cormani. He saw the talent, but he saw him comfortable being in the back. Comfortable. And that is what he couldn't abide by. And that is why he cut Cormani, right? So, you know, his mom left this post. Cormani has no one working under him or for him. He and I will be contacting the coaches directly. Thankful for all the opportunities, and to Coach Prime and Buff Nation, you guys are still appreciated no matter what. No lost love here. God bless. Very classy post. That's what I wanted to end on that note, especially considering what was going on with Cormani, the post with no clicks. You know what? At the end of the day, you get all that stuff, but these are people, right? And you got to protect your relationships. This is a business deal, right? This is 100% a business deal. So, all right. Should we have known that there was problems? Like, obviously, you get, different posts come out, his friends or people went to school with him say he spent a lot of time in ISS, which is in school suspension. He showed up late. He did this, he did that. And is that true? I think there's a lot of truth to it. Because we, on the outside, if you don't know what's going on the inside, we saw the talent. We saw the ability to play. But let's check out this. This is a post from Rivals, December 17th. And I want you to look at this. This is after Cormani won the state championship with the Lakeland Dreadnoughts, which is a powerhouse down in Florida. But look at this. He's waving goodbye at the other fans after they just, or the other team, after they just won state, right? He's just, kind of rubbing it in their face. Pointing the camera, waving by. And then you see the coach here. I'm not sure which coach this is. Kind of pulls him away from doing that. Throws up the U, does all that stuff. But was this an insight into that we didn't really notice at the time, that we didn't really see at the time? But now looking back at it, after what we know after a year in Colorado, like, wait a minute. Was this telling us something? Was this exposing something that we didn't look to see, but it was there for us to see? How the coaches responded to this this act, by Cormani, when he was in high school at the time. Or for me, like I said, I just boasted off, high school kid doing his thing, just won. It ain't no big deal. So is there something more to it? Let's look into this comment from his coach. I don't want to say I was necessarily surprised, said Keith Bearfield, McClain's high school coach in 2020 and 2021. That was a lot of work that I had to do getting him to start doing the right thing. He's a kid that grew up and always got away with things because of how good an athlete he was. Some things we did were that first step of taking steps towards it, and it kind of warning to him about it. Florida kids are going to stretch your limit. They're always going to fall to the floor of your standards. Whatever that floor is, they're going to fall to it. That's why I like Deion for Cormani, because I knew Deion wouldn't kiss his butt. Man, those are some tough words from his coach, but I think it speaks a lot to the struggles that he had developing a relationship. Now we see Coach Prime struggle to develop a relationship to get Cormani to turn things around in the way that he expected it. So what's next for the kid? What's next, right? You heard Jake from the Denver podcast talk about, this and that. It seems like USF, UCF, and Memphis are all in the running, right? Early on, there was a lot of talk that there was some Power 5, Power 4 schools who was really after him, but those words have died down. A lot of Group of 5 talk, a lot of people who've had conversations with him. USF has DVD, who was his coach, close to home. It was a person, DVD recruited him and built a relationship with him while he was recruiting him at Miami, right? Is that the way to go? Go to UCF, which is a Power 4 school, which is close to home, which has a lot of talent. It said that they're recruiting him. And it says Memphis is recruiting him pretty heavy, even saying that he can go offense and defense. A lot of people don't know, in high school, Cormani played a ton of offense and defense, and was very good at both. So the question is, where does he go? Where should he go? If you ask me directly, bias aside, I say go to where you have the best relationships. If that's USF, go to USF. If that's UCF, go to UCF. If that's Memphis, go to Memphis. People who will hold you accountable, take time with you, and develop and work with you, and it has an ultimate great culture. What program of those that have a great culture? The only one I really know about is USF, right? There's a great culture going on there, a lot of development, a lot of people getting better. They're building something great. Will that fit? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about UCF culture. UCF sucks. That's just from a standpoint of, I'm a Bull. Memphis, I don't know about their culture, right? I don't know. So I can't speak on that. But that's up to him and his family to decide, him and his mom to figure out. They said there's no agents, there's no this, there's no that. It's just them to figure out with each other. So I wish them well. I wish them the best. Thank you guys for locking in. It sucks that Cormani was cut by Colorado. But you know what? At the end of the day, we make our decisions and we live with it and we build and grow from there. So thank y'all for joining me. Catch you on the flip. Peace.